Today, we're designing and laser cutting a candle box inspired by round Japanese shoji doors. To design this project, I use a software called Rhinoceros and start with a previous file that I designed for this tea light candle box. It has all the proportions and joints that I can use for the overall box. I decided to change the height of the candle box to make it closer to a square. I like the taller rectangular ones that I've made before, but since our pattern will have a circle as the primary shape, a square would have a better proportion. To design the pattern that I had in mind, I start by drawing a grid of guidelines on a different layer that we'll be using to create all the intricate curved geometry for the pattern. I also used angled lines and circles as a guide to create each of the curves. I used to struggle with this part of my design projects because I would try and find a clear logic for where each point of the curve should be placed. Over the years, I've learned to embrace the arbitrary side of design where most of my decisions have a clear logic while others, like these curved lines, are based on look and feel. Once I was satisfied with the pattern, it was time to create a 3D model to check our work. All we need to do is select all the lines, use the extrude command, and pull them to the thickness of the material we're using. I'm using 1/8 inch plywood for my candle box. Now we can use the rotate and move command to move each piece into place. This is what it looks like when it's fully assembled. Once I'm satisfied with the design, I bring over my 1/8 inch Eco Birch plywood, apply paper masking tape to protect it from scorches and burns from the laser, and place it in my laser cutter. Then I start the laser cutting process. So far, this round Japanese shoji door inspired project has been a great learning experience. If you look at all the projects on my YouTube channel, you can see that I generally stay away from curved forms and shapes. I think it's because I learned how to design by hand, but I quickly transitioned to CAD-based software. Most of the things that you do in CAD software is based on straight lines. This entire project is organized on one sheet of plywood that's 20 inches wide by 11 inches long. It took roughly 25 minutes to cut every piece for this project. I love watching the laser cutting the lines for each side panel. At first, I was concerned that the lines were going to be too thin, but the laser did a great job at getting clean cuts throughout. When all the pieces were cut, I brought them to my work table and removed the paper masking tape from every piece. I took my time doing this so that I wouldn't compromise any of the thinner areas of the pattern. I bring over my book of trace paper and rip out a few sheets. I align one of the pieces with one edge and use my metal ruler as a guide to cut the paper with my utility knife. I turn the sheets of paper 90 degrees and I cut the trace paper again. I apply glue along the perimeter of the pattern, align the trace paper, and glue it into place. I repeat this with all 4 sides. To assemble the box, I apply glue to the inside of the tabs on both sides of one piece. I bring over 2 adjacent sides, line up the tabs, and press them into place. When you take 2 pieces and glue them together upright like this, just form one corner and it'll hold itself up. I repeat this with the remaining sides. When the box was assembled, I brought over the base, which holds all the walls together. I aligned the bottom tabs with the slots in the base and pressed down to attach them together. Then I brought over my tea light candle, placed it inside, and the project is complete. I love how the intricate curved pattern of this Japanese shoji door inspired candle box came out because it has a captivating effect where your eyes look at the overall form, then zooms in to follow each curved line. It also gives a feeling of calmness and stillness, which is probably from the way the thin lines are reminiscent of vines covering an opening to a cave. If you enjoyed this project, check out my other woodcraft videos and consider subscribing. I'll see you again next week.